Is this the beginning of a major movement against Maduro?
This is really a defining moment because the opposition and the people generally in Venezuela, I think, have been very demoralized over the last year and a half. When the last major protest movement, July of 2017, was really crushed with harsh repression, and the government stayed in power. But now there's a new energy, a new hope among the opposition with a young new leader. And with the inauguration of Nicolas Maduro January 10th, under what many consider both within Venezuela and outside of Venezuela an illegitimate election, this really presents a new scenario for Venezuela with the possibility of change coming.
You mentioned then the new opposition leader, Juan Guaido. Now, how easy is it going to be for him to energize this movement, given that all the powers of the Congress have been stripped by Maduro?
Yeah, formally, the National Assembly, the Congress, does not have any power according to the Supreme Court of Venezuela, which bows to the wishes of Nicolas Maduro. But what we've seen are Venezuelans coming out in the last 2 weeks in these major open air town hall meetings around the country, listening to the new message. And very importantly, the National Assembly has laid out a roadmap for legal constitutional change to a transition government. And they've offered a carrot to the military and security forces, saying that anyone who agrees to leave Maduro and join a new transition government will receive amnesty, which is very important given that many of them are accused of either human rights abuses or corruption. So those are two important movements. And the other thing that we'll watch for today is to see to what extent people from the more popular sectors, the more poor sectors, come out to protest, because they have been protesting in small groups about the problem of hunger and unemployment and hyperinflation. And will they join what had previously been pretty much a middle class protest organized by the political opposition?
One other thing that's worth pointing out, I suppose, is the stance of the United States. We've heard from Mike Pence calling Maduro a dictator. How much impact is their intervention, if we can call it that, having on the ground?
Well, I don't think it'll have that much. As usual, Nicolas Maduro tries to use the United States as a foil, as an enemy, and to rally his own people behind him. And the opposition, it does energize some in the opposition to feel like they've got support. But basically, the Venezuelans have heard this dispute going back and forth between the US and Venezuela for a long time. The important thing now is the degree of diplomatic isolation that Maduro is facing around the world, and the potential. The US is floating the idea of further sanctions against Venezuela's oil exports. So that would be a major move if the US goes in that direction. But the last important thing to also watch today is how the Venezuelan government and the security forces react to this protest. Do they use harsh repression or not? If they do, as they have in the past, that will create more international condemnation and could bring more people out into the street to protest that.
All right, Jennifer Mccoy, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there. But thank you very much for your time and your analysis. Jennifer Mccoy there talking to us from Georgia State University.